Hey guys, new video here. Playing a Whale Stormcaller Pathfinder. I just ended my stream a few hours ago. I got the guy up from a Rain of Arrows leveling character up to level 91 here. And it's very early stages, a whole lot will change. So while I'll post the current path of building below the thing, just know that it's a very early version. A lot of things will change, and then make sure to make stylistic choices for your build as well, so that your quality of life and your playstyle is improved. Don't necessarily copy what I'm doing here. I'm going to show you this map right here. It's a double beyond map. It's a little bit more monster health and 2 unique bosses. The main thing I want you to pay attention to is the stacks in the bottom right corner to see like how easy it is to sustain and how fast you can output the damage and get stacks back. So while I'm clearing the map, and another thing is this is beyond, right? So the beyond, a big issue is like cleanup and cleaning up monsters and like backtracking a little bit to like make sure that you kill the monsters. And I want you to pay attention to see like if it's easy to notice the beyond spawning in, because one thing about this is my whale storm call, it hits every 0.08 seconds. So sometimes I like forget that I'm in a beyonded or a double beyonded map because of the fact that it's hitting so fast that as the beyond monsters spawn in, they just die. So here the playstyle is you hit your defensive flask on the first pack, and then after the first pack you will have the storm call. Also, I'm sustaining. Okay, so look how fast all the damage gets output, right? It is actually like kind of hard to notice the beyonds because as they spawn in, you are killing them, right? And you can lay down as many markers as you want. The markers, the way that this functions is the markers on the ground, they have like the normal explosion at the end, but they also strike every 0.08 seconds for me, right when they're put down on the ground, and it lasts for about, I think, 1.8 seconds. But I'll check after this. And as you can see, this is, once again, this is a double beyond. So you can see some of these portals spawning in, but then they just instantly die. The damage is so ridiculously high. And here's the boss. So I'm gonna show you like some whales coming, or some bosses coming out, and then the whale storm call will come out right. You pop all your flasks right now. All right, watch this. Just like the boss is instantly dead. It's amazing. And so it's just like such a nice build. And I'm gonna show you a Dell so you can see what it looks like in a monster eye level. This is, what is this? This is 297 max monster level 83 here. This is like my XP run node. And I'll show you how to function as Dell. It pretty much works the same way, and you play it the same. You hit all your defensive flasks when you start, and then after the first pack, you have your juice. You pop everything. You're a Pathfinder, so as a Pathfinder, you have unlimited flasks, especially because of the nodes where like you're getting the flask charges for killing things that have Ellie ailments, and you have like things like Druidic Rite. And all that stuff. So it's an amazing build. I really like this. It's kind of similar to Whale Spark, but like way less laggy. Like the output is like very smooth. It's amazing single target. Better single target than, and that's the node right there. Better single target than Whale Spark as well, and I would say even more fun. I don't know if it's more fun because it's like new right now, or because I like the MTX more or less laggy, but it is just an awesome build. And so let's go over the Ascendancy and the skill tree first. This is a lightning based skill tree as a Pathfinder, spell based, crit based, and so the first nodes that I took is right here because as I was leveling, I just wanted more flash charges to move faster with my Quicksilver Alchemist Quicksilver Flask of Adrenalines, and so I took this, and then I think I would like take this for Cruel Merciless. This is great because as you push your flasks, here I'll just show you. So you'll see like these have charges. Usually they have like 2 charges, but if I push all my flasks, do you see how these 2 didn't activate right there? Did you see that? Those 2 didn't activate, so they're essentially full, and so it's a 20% chance, but it actually feels a lot better than that, right? So that's really strong. Gives you the flask effectiveness, or sorry, not flask effect. It gives you the protection, right? 6% reduced elemental damage taken is really juicy, and then you regain charges, and then you have the chance not to use charges. So your flasks are near permanent. It's like impossible to run out unless you're constantly spamming. Okay, and these are just like little flask effectiveness, very important for Soul Catcher. And then Master Altruist is amazing because everyone knows this is you do not need grounding, burning, and the important one's the heat. you don't need a heat flask, right? And then on every build you need to solve heat and staunching and stuff like that. So so this just makes it a lot easier to budget your flasks and to use more unique flasks if you want. And so that's amazing. Also the 40% increased ally damage, not too shabby, nothing too crazy, but it's a little bit something. And then the chance to free shot hit and ignite, I guess that helps a little bit, but our crit chance is if you look on the POB, it's close to effective 100% crit chance. So it's, you know, it's whatever, right? So that's awesome right there. And then the last two nodes, if you're going to do Uber Lab, would be this, you know, a little bit of flask effect duration and increased effect. But then this one, 15% movement speed. And since I'm a Queen of Forest build, you want as much movement speed as possible. We don't attack, so the attack speed doesn't do anything. So that's the Ascendancy right there. You start here, you get the life here. This is nice for once again flask sustain and a little bit of that extra 20% increased duration on the flask, making quality of life go up. I went through the life, I went all the way into shadow, grabbed the the usual shadow crit nodes, grab jewel socket, grab the life right here. I'll grab this life node next. Once again, I'm level 92, right? Grab all once again. If it's a tool jewel socket, you always grab that. You know, the big Doomcast node right here, a little bit of life, crackling speed. You know, this is a nice 3-pointer right here. Going up here through to the crit multi, and then going in here for power charge jewel socket. This is huge. This is like mandatory on Pathfinder builds. Flask affecting this right here. Super juicy for a soul catcher flask, which I am using because it is a perma. We're permanently using the actual whale skill after the first pack, right? And then so blast race, this is AoE lightning spell based crit, so we are going to grab all this. And you might be like, why did you grab this little one right here, right? And that is once again my rule for AoE is always, if there is a node that will give me one radius, one actual radius, I'm going to take that. And currently with my setup, this gives me one area of one radius, so I did take this one. Very important. If it doesn't give you one radius, then for your setup or whatever you're using, then it's up to you if you want to. You can like probably drop this, right? And then just a little bit of life right here going into the Templar. Templar is awesome because it has big life. You can even get a little bit of regen down here with life. And then this, Light of Divinity is crazy. Cast speed, crit chance, spell damage. All those things are good for whale stormcall, and also strength and strength's a little bit of life, right? Why not? You need the resist, because if you look at my resist here, I am capped, but I have like pretty good gear, so that wasn't really a big deal. But the reason I take this is because I go over here for some big life, right? And that's a little bit of effect right here. And then we have the Green Nightmare. Now this Green Nightmare, I'm trying out different things. I'm stocking this for a couple reasons. First, it is a way to get the frenzy charges right a little bit. It is pretty consistent, but a lot of time I have this affix here: corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you, right? So what does that mean? Regular bleeds don't really kill you anymore as long as you have some kind of leech, some kind of regen. What is this? Would you take 2 exalters? Oh, dude, hold on. Sorry, I should have put on D&D while making this video. My bad, guys. So, I take this jewel socket, and this basically protects me against stacking corrupting blood. When you hit enemies, you can gain stacks of corrupting blood all the way up to 20, and I'd say like anything over 10, your life just goes like vroom, and it goes all the way down, and sometimes you die without noticing. I actually died early on stream because I took this out, didn't notice the corrupting blood, and I got degen to death, so that kind of sucked. So this protects me against like any kind of like the dangerous bleeds in the map, right? If you don't use this, you can use like Ice Bite and stuff like that, but I decided to take this for now, and then so now if you hover over this node, 12% chance to gain a frenzy charge on kill. That's pretty good. If you don't go over here for some reason, I guess you could like go here and then you get 8% chance because it's got the all resist right there. So I took that. Once again, 2 jewel sockets, and the jewels. This one conquers potency. This one brings your max stacks from 4 max stacks to 5. So pretty nice jewel. Like on a boss, an extra storm call here and there, it could help. It could be fun. And then also, if you're a little bit lazy, you hold down that your storm call key a little bit too long. Maybe an extra stack will give you that next stack to go to the next pack if you mess up, right? But this build is really hard to mess up. You have to be like completely like brain dead, or I don't know, like playing on on like Xbox or something where you can't like target correctly for it to really for you to like kind of like mess this up. Anyways, so that's a jewel socket there. The other things are just like life, and then any kind of the damage mods, like increased damage, lightning damage, area damage, global crit multi with lightning abilities, crit multi with elemental abilities. Did I say area damage? And what else is there? There's like Is that it? I think that's it. I mean, like all the spell damage mods, spell damage while dual wielding. And so, yeah, that's about it. The Watcher's Eye, I'm using Grace. Once again, Queen of the Forest. I want to get to 45,000 evasion. And I'm also using Wrath, which I'll show you. It's a very interesting setup. So I'm also using Wrath, so I get a little bit of lightning pen here, right? So that's pretty nice Watcher's Eye. And then for the rest of these, there's abyssals. Like, I don't have a silver flask, which I'll go over. So because I don't have a silver flask, so this one is like life, and then a chance to gain onslaught for 4 seconds. And even with this 5%, I think it goes up to 8% on higher rolls, but it's pretty reliable. You know, sometimes it'll drop off, but it's not that big a deal. Okay, and that's like the jewels. Nothing too crazy there. And that is the skill tree. Did I say? Okay, the next few levels I'll get like life, maybe a frenzy charge. I mean, maybe I go over here. Arcane potency is pretty nasty, but like, I mean, the increased crit chance is kind of wasted because I'm already close to 100% crit. So I'll go somewhere with this. I don't really know what yet. I really wouldn't go up here. Like, this Heart of Thunder stuff is like too many points, and like, it's just flat damage. You don't need too much of that. So that's the skill tree right there. Okay, now let's go over the items, okay? So, and I'll go over items first, and then I will go over the gems and like just the kind of the skill setups. And this is, some of the stuff's like not even optimal, but I'll go over that too. So, as for the weapons, Bloodstained fossils give you this node called, or this explicit mod called 20% reduced soul cost of whale skills. I have that on here. I also have it on here. It is a 100% chance to do it if you craft it yourself. If you socket a Bloodstained into a Resonder and you use it on a Dagger, it will 100% get this mod. Okay, so you can either buy the fossil yourself, or you can buy a pre-crafted dagger that has like some crit chance, some added, if you would like. It's totally up to you. Now these daggers are, I believe, the best in slot because they give you implicit crit chance at 50% there, and they can get the and they could get even more. Like, this one's insane, right? Because it has like the increased crit chance for spells, and then it has increased crit chance for spells, and then it has penetration. So the penetration, if you look at the lightning damage here on this tooltip, you'll see that unlike some other things like Spark, where like, you know, you use a Call of Brotherhood to convert or something, or some other things where you might use like added cold stuff that takes over a lot of the damage, this one is mostly lightning. So this 10% penetration is almost all of that 10% penetration. It's almost like a 10% multiplier to your damages. So pretty juicy there. And then the other dagger, this one doesn't have penetration, but this one has a high lightning damage roll. It has added to spells. It has the lightning resist, which actually brings me above the cap, and then it has a increased crit chance for spells, and of course the implicit at 50%. So with these items, you know, and the skill tree, and of course the increased crit gem, my crit chance is near effective 100%, very close, like 99 point something. Okay, so very nice daggers here, but you don't really need this. Like, all you need, the implicits are good enough. You like Bloodstain, and then you can craft spell damage, you can craft crit chance. The crit chance is suffix, I believe. Yeah, it's suffix crafted by Katarina, so really easy. It doesn't cost that much, so you can do that with the daggers. As for the gloves, I'm using Shadows and Dust. Now this build is crit based, it is hit based, so the crit strike chance, the crit multiplier, it does help, and Rampage is amazing. It gives you move speed, it gives you damages for the stacks, and every set number of stacks all the way up to 520 gives you bonuses that'll, like, you know, explosions, defensives, animate weapons, like cool things that'll like you know, detonate deads that'll help you on the map. Okay, a little bit laggy, I will say, so you have a potato PC, you might want to be careful about this, but it is really strong. And I got a +1 max frenzy charge one, which is really good. But if you want, you can also get like crit chance to spells. You can get if you want to use Assassin's Mark, which you don't really need, you can go +1 to maximum frenzy charge. Or sorry, +1 maximum frenzy charges, or you can go Ellie weakness on hit, which is a strong curse as well, right? And just know that if you're thinking about boss killing and stuff, well, boss killing for the map bosses, they get 80% reduced. Like, yeah, 80% less like curse effectiveness, right? So it's like not as effective, but it's a little bit of something there. So Shadows and Dust, I think, are the best in slot here. They're just like so good. It's so fun to have Rampage, and you do notice that movement speed as well. Okay, as for the boots, just the only thing that you care about here is a big life roll if you can get it. Shore up your resist, that's number 2, and then, like, you know, 30% movement speed, right? I was lucky enough to get 35%, and this enchant sucks. So the enchant that is best on here for me is 0.6 leech, and the reason for that is 0.6 leech is important to me because it is mana leech as well. So like if I run a cannot regen map, when I kill one monster, I start regenning because like the Stormcall is an AoE, right? So I kill a monster, and then all the other monsters that die and stuff, they also give me the like around it, they also give me what's it called, mana to cast the next thing, because although a map says cannot regen, leech is not regen, so leech will give you the mana to cast again if you need to, but by that time your whale stormcall should be up. So but it is still best because with the life leech, it's enough to like be constantly filling up your life here, and it is also enough to where I can drop this Vinctars, right? This Vinctars is a lot of damage right now, 10% penetration, you know, and the nearby enemies, like sometimes if they weren't shocked already, you know, for that first hit, and the leech is like pretty quick too. But I think I want a Dying Sun because if I put in a Dying Sun, I believe I get 4 radius, right? So I want that big coverage on my what's it called, on my Whale Stormcall, and I want that big coverage on my my Herald of Ice, which we'll go over in a second as well. So I would actually swap this out once I enchant these boots. I will swap this Vinctar into a Dying Sun. Okay. I'll go over the rest of the class afterwards. So as for the ring, this one I have a Assassin's Mark on hit ring. Basically, any hits will apply this Assassin's Mark unless it's a hexproof map. But even if it's a hexproof map, this Assassin's Mark doesn't really matter. Your crit chance is once again so high. This is just that little added bonus, and of course, power charges, right? How am I going to gain power charges? Well, I've chosen Assassin's Mark as the main as the main way of getting it, right? So life. You know, but there's another swap here which I'll go over after I go over everything. And then this one is just more for resist. I mean, an Opal Ring gives you 25 implicit for ally damage, which is very helpful. It has a little bit of crafted life on it. That's Alrion life, the max roll 44. But the most important thing was it capped all my resists. And without this ring, I wouldn't be capped, and life would it would feel bad. So that's about it. You can use any. You don't have to get an Opal Ring for these rolls. Like actually, the ring would be really cheap. Okay. As for chest, Queen of the Forest. Queen of the Forest because I want to move fast, and as long as you have 45,000 evasion, you will be moving the fastest possible from the item, the Queen. And I have a +2 level of socket AoE gems because, you know, Stormcall is tagged with AoE. But you can also do duration gems if you would like. Okay, and then if you're using it in power like I am, for now, you can also use a +1 to level of gems, because that would give the Empower one, and it would give the Stormcall one, and then it'd be the exact same like final level, I guess, if that makes any sense, then as compared to a +2. And so this is really good. Now it's not qualityed because like I couldn't find any other like +2s on the market, so it just doesn't have quality, which kind of sucks. But once again, I'm still at like 40. I think I'm at 49,000 evasion, so I'm well over the movement speed cap. And if you don't want to use this, you could probably use like impulses or something, but you just won't go. You'll lose like 75% movement speed, but you feel that. I love feeling fast at the beginning, like off the starting blocks in the map. Okay, so that is the chest that I've chosen to go with there. As for an amulet, okay, this is really interesting. This is Owl's Uprising, and it makes my Wrath reserve no mana. I mean, it's got life, which is super nice, right? And then it's got like a little bit increased max ES, and when your Headhunter steals ES, it's going to be huge. And the Wrath thing is like, we'll come back to this in a second, okay, about the Wrath thing, but it's awesome. And the nearby enemies have an additional 2% chance to receive a critical strike, right? So that's like, I think that's like 2% added on after all the other calculations. So you're basically at 100% crit. Really good amulet here. And then, I mean, attributes never hurt, right? Like if I take it off, I can still use stuff, but attributes are great. And as for the helmet, currently I'm using a Deboto's Devotion here. Now this helmet, you have to get that reduced Stormcall duration. You have to. It is mandatory, because without it, you're gonna have a hard time getting your Stormcall to 0 soul gain prevention in a meaningful way. And basically what that means, if you look here, soul gain prevention 2.7, right? I click on, I'm at 0. I click on Soul Catcher. If I were to take this off, I'm at 1.31 already. Okay, so that's really bad. And the reason why you need that soul gain prevention is because if you kill monsters while soul gain prevention is active, you can't get any souls back. So you are not actually a full-blown Whale Stormcaller. You're just like some silly Stormcaller that sometimes uses this, right? If you can, and it feels really bad. Okay, so that's the reason for the helm there. Now, this one, I'm actually going to change it up as well. This is a very good starting option because 20 movement speed, right? That's crazy. And then also some Chow's resist, and there's a lot of Chow's damage in the game now, and a little bit of dex, and very good evasion for your Queen of the Forest. Now, this is a great starter helm, but I think I want some more life, so I'm going to drop a little bit of move speed, and I'm going to craft on this and this. You see? Like this one, they both have the Stormcall duration, and I'm going to use a Pristine, a Metallic, because that'll give you the -9 lightning res to nearby monsters, and then I'm going to use a Hollow Fossil to really try to get that Hollow Fossil on there for another jewel, right? It might turn off great, it might turn out great, it might end up sucking, but I'm going to use this. And if you look at the evasion, once I get to 30% quality, the evasion 700 plus is going to be very comparable to a well-rolled, like this is amazingly rolled high armor evasion Devotos, right? So that's pretty awesome, and I will do that tomorrow on stream. Now this one, but you can go through the whole game like this. I mean, look, I have 4.8k. Once I take like this node, and then like maybe like this node here, and I like this node here for the life, I'm gonna be above 5k. Leveling up gives you life as well, so it's not so bad if you just use it to Botos, right? Okay, and then what else have I go over? Okay, the belt header, obviously it's crit based, it's hit based, so it benefits a little bit more from header than the blight build that I showed last, but you don't need this. If you weren't going to use this, I would actually use a Bisco's, I'll probably use a Bisco's leash, or something like that, and then maybe try like some other gloves, right? It doesn't really matter. It's just a solid belt for the fast play style. And then as for the flask, diamond flask, because I want a lot of crit for warding. So now no map curse, because I'm like, if you look how long it lasts, right? Like just look at that. Like you see that? You see how long that lasts? Jesus. Look at that. Oh, it filled up again. Oh, and it didn't use the charge. See? It filled up again. Right? I spam again. Spam again. Like it just you can't run out, right? Because you're gonna be killing monsters. So you are permanently immune to curses on any map, and then the experiments is just like make it a little bit longer. I mean, you can have any prefix, it doesn't really matter. Soul Catcher, this is mandatory. Get 40%, because 40%, to tell you the difference between 40 and 39 on a Pathfinder, it is the difference between a 0.12 second soul gain prevention and I think 0.8 or something like that. It's like it is like a sizable amount. It's not nothing. So you have to kind of get 40%. That increased damage roll is like good, but you can have a 60% roll. It won't matter. Okay, you're not going to feel that damage, but you need to have this at 40%. I really recommend it. Okay, unless you can get to 0 soul gain prevention and like you just don't care, right? But just try to get it 40. Alchemist Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline. This is just to move really fast, and this one is a Vessel of Victar for what I just explained earlier. Penetration, big leech, and then yeah, maybe on the first hit you do some more damage because of the nearby enemies are shocked. Okay, and then the Alchemist Jade Flask of Reflexes. If I pop this, as you can see, I have 50,000 evasion, which is crazy, right? That's really good. And so that gives me more than enough for the move speed. This is just for the move speed. I mean, evasion's not bad, right? If I pop it and I have 73% chance to evade, right? That's like determined, like, what was that thing called? Like that entropy counter, basically, like 73 out of 100 attacks will like for sure miss, but then like those other 20 something attacks will actually hit. So it's like, it's pretty good. And so that is the gear. Now let's go over the gem, and it's really interesting, okay? Because like first we have some boring stuff. Like I'm just leveling Enlightens in here, and in here I have my Grace tied to an Enlighten to reserve a little bit less. You have to have the Grace, because without the Grace you don't have the big amount of evasion necessary to move fast. And then I have this right here. Wait, did I not use my Wrath for those last maps? Jesus. Okay, so the interesting part is the Wrath. Now if you look right here, wait, where is it? Where's my Wrath? Right here. Okay, so this Wrath is a level 21, and then I have it tied to an Empower 4. Now, Empower 4 would usually up the mana cost by 25%, but because I have an Owls, it says Wrath reserves no mana. So anything you link the Wrath to, even if it multiplies the cost, it doesn't matter because it reserves no mana. This is very different from the In Presence aura, which says like, you know, like it reserves no mana, but then like increased modifiers can make your Curse and Blasphemy reserve more, okay? So if you get this amulet, I attach it to Empower. Now, Power 4 is not really that important. I think you can even do a Power 3, which is like what, like 5C, 6C or something, because you get an extra percentage of damage out of the Wrath. So I like that setup right there. And then because I'm using a spell, it gives me 22. Well, I think it's like with the levels and stuff, it's like 23% more spell lightning damage. So think of this as a small 7th link. And then obviously this is the Summon Lightning Jolt. Link to Empower, it gives me another percent, you know, cast speed and stuff like that. And so I thought that was pretty cute. So I linked that anyways. And as you can see right here, I can cast it with my manas. And this is just I just threw this in there so that it would survive a little bit more. Minion and Totem Elemental resist. Okay, so that's the links right there. In the gloves, so here we go. Herald of Ice, if you saw that last map, the ice clears really heavily, right? The ice clearing is actually like, it's like super good, right? And then another thing is like the ice clearing. So you see how this is 20% of lightning damage leached as life during the flask effect? Well, the Herald of Ice right here, if you look here, I mean, it's mostly just like the cold damage. And so what happens here is that the monsters that are getting hit and killed by the Herald of Ice, you're not actually leeching that back, so it can be pretty scary sometimes. Okay, so that's why I really want these boots to have 0.6% leech, and so that's a Herald of Ice. Now it's linked to Enlighten to reserve a little bit less mana, because now I have 2 Storm Calls for every. So I have 2 Storm Calls to kill the first pack, and then I can go. This is a Harbinger MTX, by the way, and it's also linked to Ice Bite, but you don't need this. This is actually, I was using this to generate frenzies, right, when I had taken out the Green Dream, but now that I have Green Dream, I don't need it. But this gives some nice stuff. I mean, if you look at it right here, it adds damage to the Herald of Ice, right? So the Herald of Ice clears even that tiny bit better, and then I mean, maybe a chance at more frenzy charges, right? When your 12% chance from the Green Nightmare doesn't proc, but then also you have a little bit of chance of freeze, right? And that's a lot of safety. Now the safety doesn't really matter, because like your hits are so strong, and like the cold damage and all that stuff, and that the monsters will get stunned a lot, right? And stun is just as good as freeze, right? And also freeze is important because like clear bodies for detonate dead, things like that, right? Crystal spiders in the depths. And so I just decided to leave this in because I did not really need the manas for it, right? I just didn't need it. And so that's what I did there. And then, but you could totally take out Ice Bite and put in something else if you want. Definitely not necessary. Okay, and then increased AoE, because this gives radius to the Herald of Ice. Better clear, feels better for you. Okay. I have an Immortal Call set up here. This is primarily for if I somehow run a 90% avoidance map and I hit some Porkies and the Porkies aren't shattered and the Porkies like spike me. The first spike will trigger this, and then the rest of the spikes that hit immediately afterwards can't do any damage to me. That's the reason I have this. That's really the only scenario that I felt that it was actually like, wow, that saved me, you know? And then as for what else? Okay, let's talk about the main links. Now, pay attention that this queen is 5 off colors, but it's not the correct 5 off colors. And what do I mean by that? Well, so there's a couple different options that you can do here. Now, I have, where is it? Where's my thing? Okay, I have this one right here, right? No, that's not even, wait, what? That's not even it. Where's my, was it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Okay. So, I'll give you like some thoughts on this and why I'm using this. So when I was trying to get 5 off colors, okay, because I knew it would be almost impossible to get 6 off colors without spending like way too much money, I wanted to keep that green for the added cold, right? So I didn't use Call of the Brotherhood, and with the Storm Call, here's what's mandatory for me, okay? Mandatory was increase AoE, because to make the skill look cooler and the damage was fine already. Increase crit to get near 100% effective crit chance. And then I actually want to increase crit damages, right? And then I kind of wanted like controlled destruction as a more multiplier. But it turns out I wasn't able to get that. I was not able to get the one blue here for a increased crit damages or a controlled destruction. So I had to sock it in power, which isn't bad, but it is definitely a less multiplier than the other two things. And then the less duration is also really good. Okay, so because the less duration makes it so that, hey, let me just show you. Okay. So you see here how it says strikes an enemy every 0.17 seconds, okay? If I put in the less duration, it now strikes every 0.08 seconds. And if I put in my time twist, which is a swap I can do here, right? Time twist reduced skill effect duration even further, 0.06 seconds, right? So that's crazy. So it's basically a more damage multiplier, because like the lightning strike is like bam, 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 bam. It strikes like faster and faster, but the skill as a whole doesn't last that long, and so it's a little bit of a trade-off, right? Excuse me, got something in my throat. So basically, because the damage is so good, I was like, you know what, let me test out the less duration, because if it's hitting every 0.08 seconds, man, that's pretty crazy, right? And it still lasts 1.8 seconds. My spark lasts like 1.2 seconds. So it lasts better than my spark, and my spark was amazing cleanup. So that's my reasoning there for choosing the less duration and trying that out. Now, on the flip side, you can also go for the longer duration, because once again the damage is very good. And now look at this, like this one, it'll change a little bit when the other things are added in, but this one here, it lasts 4.2 seconds. I mean, that's insane, right? Like, that's striking for 4.2 seconds. And the good thing about that is that it, like, beyond maps, when they spawn in, you have that marker on the ground for 4.2 seconds for like constantly striking enemies, and that there is something to be said about that. You can like loot while your storm call protects you and stuff like that. But as you saw from the last map, that was a double beyond, and I had no problem cleaning up with 1.8 seconds, right? So that's why I decided to use this. So these are my things currently, but ultimately I would want one of these red to become blue to socket in controlled destruction or like increase critical damages, whatever you prefer. Okay, there's good things to be said about both. And so like, so you see how this one's like 5 blue, so I would use like instead of like, if I didn't want to use like the less duration or something, if I wanted to use like time twist and just like Pathfinder to get my soul gain prevention to 0, then what I would do is if I took out less duration, I would have to put on a time twist, a 10% reduced skill effect duration time twist in a ring slot, okay, and then I would take out the less duration and then go from there. So there's some swaps you can do depending on your colors and depending if you want to use a time twist. Okay, I know that was like kind of that was kind of complicated, right? But this is like stuff you just have to like test out. And right now I'm pretty happy with everything here, except for this empower here. I really don't want this empower here, because another thing is like, I mean, the Storm Call has a mediocre damage effectiveness. It's just 100%, so default, no bonuses, no negatives. And so what that means is if you decide to use fat abyssal jewels with like a spell damage while dual wielding, things like that, the more added you stack, the less of a technical like more multiplier that empower is, right? Because it's only adding the base damage from like on the wiki. You can go down the chart and see how much damage it actually adds. And so in that scenario, you definitely want a real more multiplier, right? Like control destruction or something like that, or even increased critical damages if you're critting all the time. So a lot to think about, and once again, this is just a first draft, so lots of the stuff will change depending on how I can color my gear, how I can come into the gear and stuff like that, okay? So that's all that. Did I miss anything here? Little side notes for it that I've noticed so far. Basically, you only use Storm Call at the beginning of maps, right, to get your stacks, and then you pop all your stuff, and then just go to town. You can spam. The damage is out of control. The Pathfinder is fast. You move around. It's pretty safe. I mean, I'm level 91, but tomorrow I'll probably get to like level 95, 96, and then hopefully I'll take this to 100 so I can like figure out more stuff. And there's just a lot to figure out with this build with the soul gain prevention time. But I really recommend get your soul gain prevention to 0, okay? Whether that's by using less duration in the soul catcher, or whether that's by taking out less duration if you want a more protective, more longer lasting storm call, then you can put in once again the time twist and stuff like that, right? It just really depends on what the colors that you have. So other than that, is that it? I think that's it. I mean, it is just a great build. I can't wait to play it again tomorrow. This was just day 1, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions, you can ask me on my stream at twitch.tv/cutenedog_. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you. Bye.